All right, we're leaving Korea and we're going to Japan. We're going to take a ferry from Busan to Osaka. We're going to show you how. Come on.
At the end of the video, we'll share some tips we wish we'd known and if we'd ever consider taking this ferry again. We're Tara and Luke. We quit our jobs, sold our house, and now we're on a mission to prove you can travel the world in comfort on less than $100 a day. Let's dig in. We got our tickets on panstarcruise.com. Now, what you'll notice is they only sail on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And just know that you will arrive the next day because this is an overnight cruise. So if you go to cruises and sailing information for the Osaka cruise, you'll see the route. It goes from Busan across the sea and then between Kyushu and Honshu. It actually goes between them under some really cool bridges through the islands next to Shikoku, and then it ends in Osaka. It actually tells you for Busan to Osaka, tells you when you're actually going to arrive at the bridge so that you could be on hand to, take pictures or video. There's no way I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning to see a bridge, so if that's your thing, you knock yourself out. Another thing that you need to note is that reservations are only made for up to 2 months in advance. 2 months before, now I didn't count by the day, I just did, exactly 2 months, so I didn't do 30 days, 31 days. We ended up being about 48 hours too late, and by the time we did that, all of the cabins were gone except for one. So if you go to cruises, rates and discounts, you'll see all the cabin options. So ocean zone, meaning it has an ocean view. So you'll see these are actually quite fancy. You've got the suites and the family rooms and things like that. Yeah, none of that was available. So we went to the inside zone. And the only thing available for our one-way was this one, the standard room bunk bed. It ended up being 100,000 won a person. If you go to the check-in guide section, you will see that the Busan to Osaka leaves from the Busan port. It only leaves on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and I love that it says around 3 o'clock. Not quite, just around. And it's going to arrive the next day at 10. So, fun story. None of this is accurate. The boat didn't end up leaving until well after 4 o'clock. It did not arrive until a little bit after 11. You weren't even allowed to check in until 1:30, and we weren't allowed to go through immigration until 2. So, just FYI, none of these are correct. We now have our confirmation email, so let's head to the port. This morning we are going from Gimhae, the ZAM 101 hotel, all the way to the Busan International Cruise Terminal.
Select and press the appropriate button.
Single journey.
Descend and 9.
And 초령.
Put money in here.
Put money in. Down here?
Okay. Cool.
Are you ready to get on the subway?
Definitely.
Make sure you follow subway etiquette and stand to both sides of the door. Once on the subway, you'll notice that there are maps. Lovely color-coded maps so you know exactly where you are. And you'll also notice on this particular line, the orange line, there are 2 little boat symbols, one for domestic and one for international. Once you get off the train, you'll notice there's tons of helpful signage in English. Take exit 6 and get that good glute burn. Yeah, hike up those stairs. Get ready for the next meal. You're going to turn left, and look at that. Look at that cute little boat. See that little tunnel? That's where we're headed. Walking through the tunnel. Right out of the tunnel, you're going to see another helpful sign in English. Once you get to the 3rd floor, it is waiting time. You can't check in until 1:30, and so you will end up standing in line for a hot minute. And then you go through immigration, and then you stand in another line because they won't allow you to board until 2:10. Lines on lines on lines. When you get on the boat, you get to stand in another line and get your room key. We found our room. We are 533, and we're gonna check it out. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Oh no, there's 4 beds in here. Wow. So here's the extent. That's about as far as I can stretch my arms out.
Nice.
So we have
Room service guide.
ooh.
It's all listed in one.
Sure. Liquor. Okay.
Side dishes.
Okay.
More side dishes. Tteokbokki.
Tteokbokki. The boat also had an onboard onsen, which was super cool. I will say this was probably my favorite part. I did end up spending a fair amount of time in here, and obviously I immediately came in here to film right when we boarded the boat because I knew nobody would be in here. But one of those pools is super hot, one is super cold, and it was kind of fun to sit there in the hot pool and look outside the window as the boat motored along. So I will say, onboard onsen, I give you a thumbs up.
아까 누가 안쪽이라고 했잖아. 아니 근데 그 여자분이 저쪽이라고 자기 그 여자가 헷갈렸어.
Dispensers. 아이스크림. Well, yeah. I mean, that's why we were going to try and buy snacks.
Yeah.
But
That plan backfired.
that plan didn't work out.
Yeah. See, like, It smells really good in here.
Yeah, it does. Actually doesn't feel that bad out here.
No, it really doesn't. I don't see a bunch of people going down, so I'm guessing most of the people that aren't like driving are on the boat.
So we have chicken and mozzarella sticks and
What you gonna
go mozzarella stick. Must.
eat? Ooh.
A little video. We're making it. Dinner time came and the buffet was pretty underwhelming. Unfortunately, even though there were great Korean and Japanese dishes, they all seemed kind of lukewarm and kind of meh. Also, this is when the boat really started rocking side to side, and so I think everybody was feeling a little bit nauseous. So it made it kind of difficult to enjoy the food. Would I not?
No.
Kind of end up being like a gloppy mess.
Who's got stinky food?
After not a great night's sleep, we had breakfast, and once again, breakfast ended up being kind of meh. There was a decent amount of variety, and I will say it was better than dinner. Where's this from? It was very windy. This is how taking pictures went. Here's our breakfast coffee. Breakfast coffee. About 2 hours before arrival, everyone got kicked out of the cafe, which, as you remember, is the only place that had Wi-Fi. And we also were told we had to leave our rooms and turn in our room keys. So everyone was kind of forced to either stand on the deck, which, yeah, that's pretty and it's fun to look outside, or just sit around and wait to depart. Customs and immigration took quite a while. However, there was a free shuttle bus that took everyone straight to the nearest subway station. And there it is. We made it to Osaka. We highly recommend that you set a specific calendar reminder for the exact day that your tickets go on sale. So take the day you want to sail, back out 2 months exactly, and then make sure you buy tickets on that day. Otherwise, you might end up like us and you'll be in a bunk for 4 people instead of the private room that we were really hoping we'd have.
You might not be as lucky as we were. You might have some new friends join you too.
Ooh.
All right, second tip, make sure you bring a towel with you. Now, they charge 2,000 won for a glorified washcloth or a towel that maybe would work for a hamster. Regardless of what analogy you want to use, it's tiny and it doesn't really do a great job of drying one person, let alone 2 people.
No.
Bring a towel. You'll thank us for it.
Food related tips. Eat before you get to the terminal. There really was very little available in the terminal. And also, you have to go through the process of checking in, going through immigration, actually boarding the boat. I mean, the whole process took like what, 2 to 3 hours? And dinner on the boat isn't until 6 o'clock. So, highly recommend have lunch before you get to the terminal. And highly recommend visit an amazing convenience store before you get to the terminal and make sure you stock up on snacks, bring them with you.
The next tip we have is about data and Wi-Fi. If you're like us and you were trying to do some work on this trip, or if you really rely on your streaming services or some sort of entertainment, this might be an issue for you. We discovered very, very quickly that Wi-Fi was only available in the cafe area, and they would only supply the password after you purchase something, which totally get it. It makes sense. However, the word must have gotten out very quickly because before we knew it, the cafe was packed with other people and the connection slowed down to like a snail's crawl. On top of that, the connection to our data packages was unreliable and then just dropped completely after about an hour to an hour and a half. So there is a long stretch of time where you're just not going to have any kind of connection to the internet whatsoever. So plan accordingly.
On that note, plan accordingly because there's not a lot to do on the boat. The boat, frankly, is not very large. And I think they said like up to 300 passengers, maybe
Yeah.
something like that. But I don't think there were 300 passengers on our boat. There's really not much to do. There's the small cafe, which was packed very quickly, like Luke said, with Wi-Fi, but that was about it. There was karaoke rooms.
There was a karaoke room.
Yeah, but you also had to pay for those. And frankly, there's just not much to do. So
The sauna room.
yes, I did spend a lot of time. There is an onboard onsen, and that is awesome, and that was fun. It was fun to sit in the hot water and look out the window. However, there's only so much time you can do that, and there were a lot of other ladies trying to get in, and so you can't be a jerk and spend all your time in the onsen. So they're really, if you're traveling with a group, bring some games. That would have been fun, have some games and, you'll probably have a lot more fun. Unfortunately, yeah, we were very unprepared and we had hoped to do some work. Nope. And we just were not prepared. We had our Kindles, thankfully, and we had books downloaded ahead of time, but just know there's going to be some long stretches where you might just end up sleeping.
On that note, we did have some books available, like Tara said, on our Kindles, but this was probably one of the roughest experiences we've had on the water. Now, we'll often refer to Tara's tummy issues with regards to motion sickness and not having the best of times on buses or boats or, just anything that's not a car or a train, really.
Yeah.
But this was the first time that I think I can remember in probably about 30 years where I started to feel seasick. I normally have like an ironclad stomach. I'm a-okay to go. Don't really have issues, but about 2 hours, 3 hours in, I really was feeling the rocking waves, and I needed to take some of the medicine that we had.
Mm.
And pretty soon became really hard to read
Yeah.
and just do anything but want to sleep.
Yeah. Make sure you have Dramamine, make sure you have, I think I used Bonine. Just make sure you have something, even if you're the kind of person who says, I don't need that. This boat got going.
Mhm.
It really did. And it got to a point where even walking down the hallways was difficult. I mean, it was rocking. Just be aware that this is not one of your giant Caribbean cruises where, oh, the boat's so large that it barely moves. The boat's not that big.
Mhm.
And so you're going to be rocking.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We are now in Japan, and we will be here for the next 3 months. So if you like Japan content and you want to learn more, then please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.